So, your organization is diving into AI. That's great. But it also means you're dealing with a risk that's way more subtle and, frankly, more dangerous than a simple bug. We're talking about AI hallucinations. And this isn't just a quality control thing. It's a security, compliance, and liability nightmare waiting to happen. Every manager needs a plan. So, let's dive in and build that playbook right now. Okay, to really get this, I want you to picture something. Imagine you hired a new analyst. They're amazing, super smart, articulate, totally persuasive. There's just one tiny problem. They seamlessly mix cold, hard facts with complete fiction. And they do it so confidently, you can't tell the difference without fact-checking every single word they say. That, right there, is the challenge of AI hallucinations. There's no pause, no tell, just plausible-sounding nonsense delivered with absolute certainty.
That confident storyteller analogy is a great way to get a feel for the problem. But to actually manage this risk, we need to get a little more precise. So, what are we really talking about when we say an AI is hallucinating? And what is it that makes this phenomenon so uniquely deceptive? Here's the textbook definition, but I want you to focus on just two words: confidently and plausible. That's the dangerous combination. See, the AI doesn't just make a simple error. It invents things with the same tone and authority it uses for verified facts. It could, for instance, give you a detailed, convincing summary of a scientific study that was never, ever written. And that's what makes these things so difficult for a normal user to catch without doing their own homework. Now, the first question any manager is going to ask is, okay, so can't we just fix this? And the answer to that question gets to the absolute core of the problem. This isn't about patching a simple bug. It's about the fundamental way these AI models are designed. We have to make a major mental shift here. It's so easy to think of a hallucination as a bug that developers can just squash in the next update. But the reality is much, much tougher. It's actually a feature of the architecture. You see, large language models are built to be expert pattern predictors, not truth finders. Their entire job is to predict the next most statistically likely word in a sentence, not the next most factually correct one. And if you take away only one thing today, let it be this. These models don't know anything the way a human knows something. They are masters of statistics, of finding patterns in the mountains of data they were trained on. Data that, by the way, is full of errors and fiction itself. This means we have to build our systems around this problem, not sit around waiting for a magic fix that isn't coming. Understanding the why is one thing, but as managers, our job is to focus on the so what. So let's talk about the real-world consequences. Let's trace how this goes from being a quirky technical annoyance to a major business liability that absolutely belongs on your C-suite's risk register. The business risk really breaks down into three huge areas. First, you've got misinformation at scale. Just imagine an AI-powered customer service bot confidently giving thousands of customers the wrong information all at the same time. Second, if you're in a regulated industry, think finance, healthcare, a single hallucination can trigger an immediate and serious compliance violation. And finally, and this is the big one, it creates direct legal and liability risk for your company. And believe me, this isn't just theory. The Mata versus Avianca case is the flashing red warning light for all of us. In this case, a pair of lawyers got sanctioned by a judge because they submitted a legal brief citing completely made-up, hallucinated court cases generated by an AI. The court's message was loud and clear. You, the human professional, are responsible for the output. And slapping a little disclaimer on it saying AI might make mistakes, yeah, that's not going to save you. Okay, so this is a real risk. How do you actually measure it in your own projects? Well, it really scales across three key factors. First, how severe are the consequences if the AI gets it wrong? Are we talking about someone getting a bad movie recommendation, or are we talking about someone's money, health, or freedom? Second, who is the user? Is it an expert who's going to double-check the work, or a novice who's going to trust the output as gospel? And third, how hard is it to even check if the AI is right? This chart gives you a really practical way to apply that framework. You can see how it breaks down. For low-risk stuff like brainstorming marketing slogans, who cares? A higher tolerance for error is totally fine. Then you get to moderate risk uses, like summarizing an internal report for your team. You'll want some monitoring there. But when you get to the high-risk applications, legal advice, medical diagnoses, financial planning, you need to have near zero tolerance for error, and that demands a completely different set of controls.
All right, we get the problem, we get the risks. The big question is, what on earth do we do about it? So let's shift gears and talk about the solution. We're going to walk through a proven, structured framework for this, a 3-layer defense to manage and mitigate this risk.
The strategy here is something every security pro knows and loves: defense in depth. There is no single silver bullet. It's all about layering your controls. You start with hardcore testing before anything goes live. Then, once it's running, you need systems in place to detect hallucinations in real time. And finally, for anything high stakes, you absolutely must have a well-designed, robust human-in-the-loop system for oversight. Now, the most powerful technical tool we have in our belt right now is something called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. The best way to think about it is like giving the AI an open book test. Before it answers a question, it first has to go look up the relevant information from a trusted source, like your company's internal documents. And it's forced to base its answer only on that verified info. It dramatically cuts down on the risk, but, and this is critical, it does not eliminate it. It's an incredibly powerful control, but it is not a complete solution.
And the good news is you don't have to invent all of this from scratch. There are some really solid authoritative frameworks out there that you should be using. I'm talking about things like the NIST AI Risk Management Framework, the OWASP Top 10 for large language models, and even standards like ISO 42001. These give you a fantastic roadmap for building a program that's both defensible and compliant.
Okay, we've covered the what, the why, and the how. Now let's pull it all together into a playbook you can actually use. What are the concrete steps you can take starting Monday morning to get your arms around this risk? Here's a simple, clear roadmap. In the first 30 days, just focus on visibility. Make a list, an inventory of all your AI projects and start logging what they're doing. By 90 days, your goal is to have formal testing protocols in place, plus a human review process for your highest risk systems. Then, looking out 6 months, you can start to integrate more advanced, automated ways to verify AI outputs against your trusted data.
So let's boil all this down. If you're walking into a team meeting tomorrow, here are the 4 essential things to remember. Number 1, this is a feature, not a bug. Manage it like any other operational risk. Number 2, legal precedent is clear. You are on the hook for the AI's output, period. Number 3, layer your controls. A 3-layer defense is your best bet. And number 4, and this one is so important, sometimes the smartest risk management decision is to say no. Deciding not to deploy an AI for a certain task isn't failure. It's a sign of a mature, responsible organization.
And that brings me to the final question, the one I want to leave you with. Knowing what you know now, that getting to zero hallucinations is impossible today, which one of your company's AI projects needs to be bumped to the very top of your list for an immediate risk review? The time to figure that out is right now.